your virtual assistant is a reflection of you and the way you run your business. We make sure to train them on all the aspects.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 67th episode of Leverage. I am beyond excited today to have the beautiful, talented Masha with us, because not only has she helped train my VAs, she helps train all the Virtudesk VAs, and she is amazing and has so much to share with us. So I am beyond excited to be here with her. For anyone that doesn't know, I am Lori Parker. I am a managing broker with EXP. And Masha, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Lori, for such an intro. Yes, my name is Masha, also known as Maria, whatever is easier for you. So I've been with Virtudesk for a while at this point, and I am a learning and development manager here. So my job is to make sure that your virtual assistant are well trained and are ready to go.
Yeah. She does an amazing job. You train in so many different things, and I know we're going to get into it, but it's always the questions that I get from people who always ask me about VAs, because I am on a lot of Virtudesk stuff. I do not work for Virtudesk. I don't, I love Virtudesk, but I don't work for them. And I will have people message me all the time asking about the VAs, what they're trained in. And I'm like, I can tell you about mine, but that's why Masha is here to tell us all of the wonderful tools that you have provided to the entire task force that is Virtudesk. How many VAs would you say you've trained at this point?
Oh my gosh, that's, I don't even know. So usually I would say around 50 people each week going through my trainings. Plus there is also there's been a lot of weeks already. So I think around maybe a couple of thousands already. Yeah.
Because I think people sometimes don't realize how much you do behind the scenes, which is why I'm so excited that you're in front of the camera today. I love seeing you in front of the camera. It never happens. So if I'm a little bit jumpy and excited, it's because I'm giddy today to have Masha here. So I know that you have a list of things that we were going to talk about. Yeah. So what's our first topic?
So the first topic is, I think, just the training process in general and how important that is. Because I a lot of people, and also a lot of our clients, they don't realize that the better the training is, the more outcome, the more results you get from your virtual assistant, from your employee. And even though we train virtual assistant and well train them, they still need to be up-trained and upskilled, because your virtual assistant is a reflection of you and the way you run your business. So that's very, very important. And at Virtudesk, we make sure to basically train them on all the aspects, because people are different, all the employees are different, or all the virtual assistants are different. And it is really important to provide all possible trainings in all possible ways, because all people have different perception channels, how they receive the information. And we always make sure to provide them with all the materials, whether it's video materials or audible materials, or just a text so they can read the text and learn from there. Because for example, I had a virtual assistant, it was a while back. She was a marketing virtual assistant, and even though her job was to do visual stuff, she was still better with with written checklists and articles and stuff like that. Or for example, the ISA that we had together, Lori, our wonderful Jay, he's like 100, I would say that he's like 100% like visual and audible in the way how he gets the information. So when we trained him, we made sure that the materials would be like, you know, in that way.
Well, one thing that I definitely think is the most important is that you personalize them to you. Because one of the most important things is they can be trained on KV Core, for example.
Yes.
But each person uses that CRM differently. So you just really want to make sure that you are personalizing them to your way of doing business. And that's the training that people, you can't have somebody else train for each person's specific way of doing business. You train on the whole. So that's, I think, a piece a lot of people miss is personalizing your VA. Treat them as part of your team. Include them in the team meetings. Include them on your way of communicating, how you do phone calls, all of those things. Then they get to know your personality and how you would respond. So that's like that key piece that I think is really important that a lot of times people miss.
Hi, Mark.
Hey,
Hi, Mark.
Sorry for running late. I'm here.
We're glad you're here.
Yes.
Me too. Good to see you all.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about training VAs, of course. That's our topic today.
Yes.
And we've been talking about what Virtudesk provides to the virtual assistants. Masha has trained thousands of VAs for Virtudesk. So we've been talking about kind of the difference in training someone overall versus training them once they're your VA, you've chosen to work with them, what you train them on. I know you work with Tristan, who has mind-blowing number of VAs for a person. I think he's like 30 something.
Yeah, there's a good amount. There's a good amount.
Right. So do you have a VA and have you trained them specifically?
Yeah. So I do have a VA. They were partly previously trained, right? But as always, I need to kind of step in and do kind of my own training, right? So one thing that I like to focus on as far as the training is kind of going about things how I like to do them, because I think we can all agree that we all kind of do things a little differently, right?
Yes, of course.
Naturally. Right?
That's what I was talking about, the personalization for like
Yeah.
a CRM or KV Core.
Yes.
You have those templates, but guess what? Everybody does things differently, and you've got to let the VA get to know your personality. So yes, they're trained on how to work KV Core, Command, all the different systems that are out there that are CRMs. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but I know that they get trained on a lot. And so once you have the basics, that's great. But the person or the team that is working with that VA needs to show them how they utilize that system. Because I have heard, I can't even tell you how many times people say, oh, they said that, you know, they were trained on this, but they didn't know to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, if you've been trained by KV Core, which I have, I did the KV Core training, there's personalization. And so you have to make sure that you are going through follow-ups, number of calls, all of those things with them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then also too, like kind of like your brand, you know, what is your brand? Are you, what type of personality are you? Or, you know, what is your mission statement? What is your team statement? You know, what do you focus on? Sellers, buyers, both? What's your core set of clients? And kind of, because, you know, the different scripts, so to speak, sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And scripting is a huge part of, I'm assuming since you work with Tristan, you're in real estate too.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the real estate world, scripting is something that's so important because different areas, different clientele. I'm out of the Seattle area. And when you're working with a lot of tech people, you know, you're just going to have a little bit different way of talking than you are when you're talking with a stay-at-home mom, right?
Right.
And so that's one of the things you really want to find out what they do, you know, who you're talking to. And that's part of the training that I've done with my VAs is asking questions, specific questions to get them to open up and all of that. But Virtudesk, Masha and her amazing training does the framework. So you're not having to start from ground zero.
Yeah.
Which I've talked to people who are like, oh, I'm never going to use a VA because they didn't go through a company. They didn't go through someone that had the basics trained to them, and they don't want to take the time to educate. And I'm like, well, your time is money, and working with a company that does the basic training and goes in depth. I mean, Masha, I know you train a little bit on social media, some visuals, like you said, you had a marketing VA that all of those things, like I can tell you my VAs have trained me on video. Like, please, when you're recording, do this. Lori, we can only fix so much. And so it's funny because they train me back as well. It's not just a one-way street. And I think that's one of the biggest difference.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned about the questions like specific to a region that you train your virtual assistant to ask. That's actually like one of the most important things. We train our marketing VAs on that it is really important, like, you know, before you start working with a client, to get to know your client and actually to do the research on the area, because there are no like you won't have like two exact same clients. So, and they would be like from different areas, they would be from different states. And it's really important to do research, like what is popular in that area, what people are interested in, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, and that's
Virtudesk assistants do, because I've used VAs from Virtudesk for recruiting, for ISAs, for social media. Like I've had a variety of them, and it's awesome because they'll tell me about demographics because they do research before they have a call with me to go, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And I'm like, what, really? Oh, awesome. I knew that. I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's been awesome that you guys set the bar for them, and they already know to do a lot. And it's just really about personalization at that point. And I think, Mark, you brought up the point of mission statement, vision, and just inclusion into the team so that they really see where you're going. Now, I know we were supposed to talk more about training, and I feel like I will get off topic. You open air to talk, and it's like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? So, Masha, you want to go back to what you guys at Virtudesk, because I know you conduct, you run the trainings for a lot of it. What do you train people in?
So we have like, you know, our training system is like, I think it's amazing because we have both ongoing live trainings like weekly for new VAs. And then we also have like a Netflix kind of a platform, like on-demand learning. And I think it's actually one of the learning and development trends, like recent trends, to create those like on-demand platforms so the employees can always have an access to all the like learning materials. And whenever they have an issue with something, or like, you know, maybe if they don't know something, they can always go and learn that right away. So that's basically what we have. And also,
well, I know even EXP, Keller Williams, a lot of the large real estate companies have the same type of learning platform.
Yeah, it's really popular.
It is. It's an easy way for people to get trainings that maybe aren't offered that week, or for them to play catch up when they might not have the schedule that allows them to come to the live trainings. So I think it's an excellent way to disseminate information but also you're seeing a live person, and it's not just reading the text, even though a lot of times I know you have like amazing graphics. I've gotten to witness those, and it's awesome to see those, like when you guys run the ads for leverage, for different things that you guys are doing as a company to share information. And that's the other thing that I really love about Virtudesk is they get out and they share information in leverage in so many different places. You know, you're at the Tom Ferry event right now. You're always getting out there, and you just give information away for free. And that's the part where I'm always like, this is awesome. So I just want to commend you guys on that, just sharing as much as you do.
A little round of applause.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually have like a couple of slides to share with you guys.
Cool. What a great lead-in.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so as going back to what we have discussed about different like perception channels and stuff like that. So, okay, 1 second. How do I?
It's looking great on the screen right now.
Okay,
the Training Trifecta.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about, that whenever you train your virtual assistant, make sure to include all like type of materials. Like there should be all of them, like written materials, audio, video. Like, for example, if you're like if you are up training your admin virtual assistant, you can self-record like your screen and share like how you, for example, upload stuff in your transaction management system. I mean, we do train them on like how to use like SkySwap, Brokerman, and like paperless pipeline, and bunch of other transaction management system. But still, like, for example, if you have like your specific type and if you want them to do it like in your specific way, you can screen record that. Or for example, if you have hired a TikTok virtual assistant and you want them like you want to show them like how to edit in your specific way, just screen record that and share it with your virtual assistant. Same with audio. For example, you can create a written step-by-step checklist for your virtual assistant so they can have it, but also you can like record it. Or for example, if you have hired an ISA inside Sales Assistant, what you can do is basically you can record yourself while you're calling a lead or like, expired or whoever. So they can always have it and they can always go back to that and re-listen and just, maybe take some notes or improve their speech. And so same with written stuff. Like, I mean, written materials are like, they're the must because they're like easy to access and you have all the most important information in there, like in checklists and in articles, maybe you've shared with them.
Checklists are life.
Yes,
I love checklists. I love clicking the boxes and seeing those boxes checked. So yes, checklists are life.
Yeah, actually it was funny. Like Sarah, the director of marketing, she was like, "Oh, we have an action plan. How to create an action plan? Do you want me to share that with you?"
That's perfect. The action plan on how to share the action plan. That's 100%
checklist, how to create a checklist. We do have those too, by the way. Yeah. So, so that's really important to include all like kinds of materials when you uptrain your virtual assistant, because again, your virtual assistant is reflection of you and how you run your business. That's the thing to remember, because we do train them, we do well train them, but you need to basically have your employee who knows you, who knows your business and everything about it. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about maybe platforms and tools that you guys have used in your like experience, and I'll also share my tools like that we train our virtual assistants on and that we use for.
Do you have a slide with a list of tools?
I do have a slide with.
Can you tell I love slides?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes,
that's
all the slides.
That's more of a communication slides, like, you know, the way how you can communicate with them. And
the
like
one that I never see on here that I love is Facebook,
yeah,
right? Messenger. Because I use Facebook Messenger. If I'm out in the field, I can call them, I can text, I can take a picture of something and say, create this from that. And it's funny because I never see it in here. And that is probably one of my most used tools with my VAs, because it's easy for me to get to. You can do a video call, you can do a voice, you can send a voice memo. You can send snapshot pictures, you can send like everything through that.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is an amazing platform for that as well. We personally use like Skype for communication, for sharing the materials, like even the recordings. Also, I would say the second most popular platform is Google Drive, because you basically, I mean, Google in general, because you share everything through Google, like Google Docs.
Google Docs are another thing that is life, because then it's in a place in my world anyways, it's on a Google Doc where you can all have access to it. So if you need to change something or click a box on a checklist, it shows up there, right? Everyone can see it, like, okay, this has been accomplished, because we have, you know, like a new buyer checklist. Have they been sent this, this, and this? And then I know, okay, great. I know what they've talked about. There's notes in this system, and I can talk to this person like I'm not coming in blind. So I love that.
Yeah. I mean, also there is a project management tools, which are, I don't know that I'm not sure if a lot of people actually use that, but it's a really powerful tool on all stages of like your work with a virtual assistant. When it comes to training, you can share all the checklists in your project management platform, like in Trello, Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp. I personally
use Canva in there as well.
Canva is not here, but Canva is like, I mean, all the virtual assistants at Virtudesk, they know how to use Canva. I made sure of that.
Yeah, and it's a great tool. Yeah. So I just want people to realize this does not have every tool that you're even training on, let alone that you can use, because a full extensive list would not be a slide, it would be a checklist. So it would be much larger, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we go back to like all the tools and platforms and softwares that we train them on, it's going to be like a list of like 100 plus like different tools and platforms. So I decided not to include it here, but yeah.
And the other thing that I really want to make the point of is, if you're using one and you don't feel like that's working, try something else. This isn't like trying on a pair of shoes. If it doesn't fit, you just get a different pair of shoes. It's more like cooking, and you keep adding ingredients till you get that perfect recipe.
Or like prospecting. Some people like door knocking, some people don't. Some people like open houses, some people don't. Just try certain things until you find what sticks.
Exactly. So what's our next slide, Masha?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to the questions on Facebook that we got.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's just answer. I mean, most of the questions are about how do I train like different types of virtual assistants. So I was thinking, why won't we just go to the next slide and learn how to do that? How do we train a marketing virtual assistant? So when it comes to marketing virtual assistant, I mean, there are so many things about marketing, and also like different types of marketing virtual assistant, because like there can be marketing or like social media manager, or it can be ads assistant, or it can be TikTok or like video editor, like different types. So when it comes to marketing in general, the first thing you do when you train your virtual assistant is always create a checklist. That's number one, always. That's what you do. You create a checklist of the things that you would want them to do, you would want your virtual assistant to do, and also like you can create a checklist on what exactly your virtual assistant should go through in the way of training. So then we always suggest our clients to share the branding kit with your virtual assistant, because that's the way they get to know you as well. Like, include your brand colors, include your brand fonts, your logo, your headshot, maybe include some ideas on what exactly you want to see on your social media platforms. Like, what style of content do you want to see? Like, is it like minimalistic or something more like in colors and bright and like happy, I don't know, content. If
and
it's
yeah, really cool when you share that, because I have in all of my stuff an about me section, right? So that they get to know a little bit about me. So if clients have questions, they can answer, right? I have 5 kids. People always go, 5, right? And so it's like they can kind of prepare them for that. It's like, here's the best number to reach her at, and these are the best times. And it's like, when you set the right expectations and everyone that's talking to your clients, including your VAs, are on the same page, it makes everything run smoother and better.
Yeah, I agree. But like this slide includes some information about editorial calendars, which is also a content calendar. But the good thing is we do teach our virtual assistants how to create content calendar for a month ahead. So basically, if there is something you would want them to show you, to provide to you, that just tell them about it, because they go through content calendar creation in our trainings. Then also, there is always a good idea to share like maybe some like different profiles, like your industry influencers profiles that you love, that maybe you would want your Instagram to look the same. So do that, share some profiles, maybe just
make them follow Tristan.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, my VAs do stalk Tristan. I make a point. Yes. I'm like, follow him, do what he's doing. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can do that too. I mean, then also, like, for example, if you see a really, really cool graphic, or for example, new listing flyer or sold flyer, you can screenshot that and just send it to your virtual assistant, tell them like, oh, I really love that. Can we try to like create designs more in that way? Or if you are proficient with Canva, for example, what you can do is, for example, you can draft some templates of what you would want your social media to look like and just share that with your virtual assistant.
Just so you know, a lot of us, it's easier to send a screenshot or a snapshot, because look, we can sell real estate, but we may not be the best at graphics. Well, I may not be the best at graphics. That's why I love my VAs.
May not be the best.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's why you hire a virtual assistant, because they would put together all of your thoughts and visuals that you have and share that with the world. Also, like to mention a TikTok and Reels, because this is like, we have a lot of clients who, I mean, and inquiries about like just TikTok video editing and stuff like that. So if you want a TikTok or Reel assistant, you need to understand that you are the one who is providing the footage and creating the content. They would just put it together and post it. Because
if you don't give them good stuff to work with, you're not going to get great output. Just from, maybe personal experience. You have to shoot quality. Because like Masha recommended light for me and everything, because if you're not sending in what they need to create these amazing videos, you're not going to get them.
Yes, and another tip, it's not about virtual assistants, but it's about content creation in general. Guys, whenever you film whenever you film stuff, whenever you take the footage, make sure to wipe your camera. This is an essential. This is like, please do that. It's really, really important. That will improve quality of your videos like insane.
Oh, I'm going to cry. No, it's so true. I have done this where I go Facebook Live showing like at an open house and I'm like, what is wrong with this footage? It looks horrible. And then you turn your camera around and there's like just junk all over the back and you go,
yes.
All right, retake.
Yes, it's a must. Like, trust me, it will improve the quality. Yeah, that's for marketing, I would say. Oh, and about TikTok, just save some videos on your TikTok, like them. Same with Reels. Create some folders and just save what you loved, share with your virtual assistant, and they will recreate that because they know how to do that.
And they add the coolest stuff, like graphics, and because I have a plethora of children, my kids they'll throw in like my son going like, let's go, jumping. Like I send them videos that they incorporate that really show who I am, and I love it.
Yeah. I also want to like moving towards like inside sales assistant, like prospecting assistants. Well, we do train them on most popular scripts, and they are trained on that, and they're trained on different like dialers and like ISA platforms. We also have an amazing course like for our virtual assistant, like it's more of a ISA psychology, like how to convince a person on the other side of the phone for an appointment, like to sign them up basically. And what you need to do when you hire an inside sales assistant is to uptrain them for your needs, or as Lori mentioned, to make them ask questions specific to your area, specific to your state, because and specific to your business, of course, because that's how you stand out and make yourself successful. And the last one is admin virtual assistant. Well, you can have your admin virtual assistant trained on all the platforms that you use. And I would say that the administrative virtual assistant is like, it's easier to train them because you just share the things the way you do them.
So we got a couple questions. Do we want to address those?
Yeah, so we do have, I'm reading them on Facebook. Do you have some on Zoom?
On Zoom.
Okay.
So the first one's from Donnie. He says, hi, Masha, great training, by the way. How can I start creating a script, let's say when my business is in real estate? So do you want me to talk about how I create scripts? Mark, do you want to talk about it? Or Masha, who wants to field that?
Guys, I would say you are better skilled with that because you're professionals in real estate.
From coaching, right? If you're coaching with Tom Ferry or, like the big people or Tristan, right. It is really, to me, making sure that you're taking what you get and personalizing it. The same thing as your virtual assistant. And I know we're running a little over, I think, on time, but I have my VAs start with a script, but I also have worked with my ISA VA for years. And I really say, go off script because he knows me and I trust him to go off script. But it was probably the first year and a half. I was like, stick to the script. So, it's like with anyone, when you have a new buyer's agent, you're like, here's the script, stick to it at your open house, get this information. So I think it's really building and working with your specific VA.
Yep, I agree. Or remember when Jay was making calls, recruiting calls.
Yeah.
He was out of script, but he 100%. Was so good. He would just I would say that people it would be the first time he would talk to them, but in 5 minutes, they would be telling him what happened, why they sound so sad, and sharing with him all the problems that they've got.
He was just amazing. Yeah, there's a reason I will never let him go. I'm like, he's mine. We got another question. Hi, Masha. Do you train your VAs in general property listings, CRM management, and do you comply with your client's process and source VAs that are plug and play? We have definitely gone over this, that yes, they are trained, but you still have to personalize them.
Well, we do train our virtual assistants on how to create property listings on MLS and on MLS, which are matrix based MLS, which are most of the MLSs in the United States. So they are familiar with that and they know how to use MLS in general. CRM management. Well, as I mentioned, we have a lot of trainings available. So whenever we have a client for example, he uses like this specific CRM, we either will have a virtual assistant go through the training, or we will have the subject matter expert who will uptrain our virtual assistant for the specific CRM or specific need. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So I know we are definitely over on time, right? Because we're supposed to go like a half hour, but Masha has so much to share, and it has been so amazing getting to hear directly from the woman who trains the Virtudesk VAs.
I'm blushing.
Well, you're amazing. And I don't think people realize your knowledge and you going and training these VAs, it puts that knowledge into the Virtudesk VAs. So if somebody wants a trained VA, Masha is definitely there to help at Virtudesk. She gets these people ready with the basics. And just remember, even if somebody had worked at a different company and worked on the same system, you still have to train them to work within your team or your company. So Masha, thank you so much for taking time away from Tom Ferry to come and be here with us. Everybody, it's so great. I see you're the best, Masha.
Thank you.
Everybody loves you, and I hope you understand that.
We have one more question. Any suggestions for marketing tools for sharing contents? I would say Google Drive, Dropbox are your to-go tools. So yeah.
Absolutely. Google Drive all the way. I love that. And then, like I said, I use Facebook Messenger like a lot because I can get it on video. I can drop stuff in there, pictures of here's a list I made, make it pretty. I do that a lot. So yeah. Again, I know we went over on time, but we don't get Masha very often. And I just really wanted to get as much information. And I loved your templates that you shared, the tools, and we just appreciate everything you do so much. So thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you. Thank you, guys.